everybody, welcome to Bones Collector. Today on Bones Collector we're continuing our series where Lori and I are playing our way through our board gaming library. So we're going to play a couple of games, 2 or 3 games each week, and make a video about it and pass it on to you, and I hope you enjoy them. Hey everybody, welcome to Bones Collector. Today Lori and I just finished playing Colors of Paris for the 4th time. And Colors of Paris came out in 2019. It's a 2 to 4 player game, no solo variant. I'm sorry my solo friends out there. I always hate when I have to say that to you guys. But no solo variant. And the designer is Nicholas de Oliveira. This is a worker placement game with variable player powers and some open drafting, and I'll show you in a minute. And the winner of the game is the person with the most points after 2 paintings have been completed in a 2-player game, I believe, or all the black cubes have been purchased. And that triggers the end of the game. Whoever has the most points at that point in time wins. So the game itself, physically, it's by Super Meeple. They always do a tremendous job in publishing. A nice sturdy box. Everything in the game is top-notch. Cardstock is linen. These player boards are thick cardboard. These are the artists themselves are thick cardboard. You have these acrylic cubes that are the paints in this game that are just regular acrylic small cubes, and player boards are dual layered, and this spinning action selection thing is pretty cool too. And you have blockers. You can see blockers on here for a 2-player game, so depending on the player count you'll block some of those spaces off. But the production of the game is fine, and the assistants themselves are wood, and they're holding a paintbrush, so they're pretty cute little guys. Okay, let's see what I want to talk about first. I want to talk about, first of all, the reason why I like this game a lot. I'm going to tell you right now, I really like this game. One of my favorite movies is Midnight in Paris with Owen Wilson and Rachel McAdams, and this is Midnight in Paris, the board game. Everything about it, the artists themselves are in that movie. And so I really, once I started playing this, I was like, oh my gosh, it reminds me of the movie. But if you haven't seen that film, it's phenomenal. And just a tremendous movie, Midnight in Paris. But these player boards, I'm going to talk to you about them first. They're dual layered, so you got these little markers and these 3 tech tracks that you're going to move up on. And you do that by selecting that action on this wheel. But you have a place here to keep your paints, and you can see the ones on the outside, the blue, yellow, and red, are your primary colors, and the ones on the inside, the purple, green, and orange, are secondary colors. And then the one in the middle is the black paint, and when you get one of those black paints, it's worth 6 points. It says so right there on the space. And then down here, when you're moving these along, it has the cost to move this each space. So even once you select that on the action wheel, you still have to pay 2 cubes of any color to move this one space on these tech tracks. And the tech tracks are, this paintbrush represents how many paints you can move in one turn to your painting. The palette that you see here with the paints determines how many secondary colors you receive when you go to that action space on the wheel. So, and again, the cost of moving them up is right here on your board. And then this tube tells you how many of the primary colors you get when you go to that particular action space. So if you go to that action space for primary colors, whichever color you select, you get that number wherever your marker happens to be. Now when you get up to the number 6 slot in each one of these 3, you get a choice. You can open up one of your extra assistants, or you can select one of these medallions that give you 6 points. And I've learned very quickly you have to have that 4th worker, I think, to do well in this game, but that's it. The rest of them take the points if you get up there. Because, I mean, the game ends rather quickly. We, as a matter of fact, have chosen to not do 2 paintings. We're going to do 3.
Yeah, somebody at Board Game Geek suggested at 2-player to go to 3 paintings.
And so we changed that a little bit. And house ruled that we're going to finish 3 paintings. It just adds a little bit more to the game. It gives you a chance to do a little more. But, I mean, even at 2, the way it was written, hey, the guy did a great job designing this game.
It plays really fast that way.
Yeah.
If you want to play a quick game.
Really cool, though. But that's your player board. And you have it also tells you on your player board you have a max of 12 on paints. And that's, man, that hurts. I don't know. you're going to throw away paint in this game because you're just going to have too many.
It dries up.
Yeah, dries up. You're going to have to toss it because you're going to have more than you can spend and more than you need, and it's aggravating actually when that happens. So yeah, that's your player board, and then this is the action selection wheel. And I'm telling you, this is a brilliant mechanism. I really am, I don't know, man. The first time I played it, I told Lori, I like this game. I don't know how much I like it because we've only played it once, but I really like it. And the way this wheel works is you can see you have an outer ring and you have an inner ring. And I'm going to take these blockers off of here.
Because they're just going to fall.
Yeah, they're going to fall anyway. You have an outer ring and you have an inner ring. Now the outer ring you can see, and it has numbers on here for player count, and you simply have to cover those up for whatever player count you have because it restricts this more. And it's just very restrictive. So I really enjoy telling you about how wonderful this action selection mechanism is that he designed. I'm pretty blown away by it actually, because what you're going to do is you start out with 3 assistants and you're going to place them on action spaces around this wheel, and you can place them on the outer track or you can place them on the inner track or even the very inner ring. The very inner ring gives you white paint, which you can substitute on your paintings to finish it quicker, but it's -2 points at the end of the game for, is it -1?
2 and 1.
1 or 2 points at the end of the game if you use white paint on your painting. And then you have 3 spaces on this inner ring, and those are very interesting options also. One of them is to claim first player. That's 2 points. White paints are -2 points in the game. But one of the spaces claims first player, and first player is pretty important in this game. You will want first player because, I mean, the other players are just going to take the spaces, because in a lot of these action selection spaces there's only room for 1 assistant, and if you want that, you're almost out of luck. But it's nice to have first player. And then the other 2 on the inner ring, this 0 with a slash and then ×2, every time at the end of the round this wheel is going to move 1 space unless somebody selects that action, and that freezes the wheel where it's at or moves it 2 spaces instead, and you will use that. It's so handy to not only help yourself but screw the other guy. I mean, you will do that, and it's so interesting. And then this 3rd space on the inner ring is to copy any action of a standing assistant on the outer ring. So you have to make sure if you place there that if you're first player, great, because you're going to be able to select. But if someone else is first player, they may use their action and lay down their assistant before you get to copy. And man, that make you mad. Then you're going, next time I'm getting first player, dang it. Because that just made me mad. And that happened to me more than once. I said, I'm getting first player. But the thing to think about when you're using this action wheel is wherever you place your assistants, at the end of the round, like I said, it turns 1 space, and then all players select 1 of their assistants on the outer ring to leave in place. So you're going to leave 1 of your assistants on that outer ring. So the turn prior, when you're placing, you're thinking, okay, well, I mean, I want that, but when this turns 1 space, do I want that action? Because that's what you're doing. And it works brilliantly, because many times you'll say, oh, you know what? I mean, I want to do this other action, like the paint. I want to paint, and when the wheel turns, it's going to give me the paint action. Not only is it going to give me the paint action, but there's only 1 space available for the paint action. So my guy, I'll just be able to stand up and I'll hog that for everybody. Nobody gets to select that but me. I'm the only one that's going to paint.
Unless somebody chose not to turn the wheel.
Unless somebody chose not to, or somebody selected the copy and they go before you.
Yeah.
And then also, there's these bonus cards that you can purchase for white cubes. There's going to be 3 of them present all the time. However many paintings you have up for drafting, that's the open drafting part of the game. That's how many bonus cards you're going to have. And it has the cost in cubes across the top. That's how many white paint cubes it costs to buy these cards. And they are handy, I want to tell you. I mean, but man, the game is so tight when it comes to things that you're doing. This is a tight economy in this game. I'm pretty impressed. I mean, it's a really good game. My hat's off to.
There's a lot of different ways to go about winning. There's not just, it's not going to get boring.
Yeah, so you can do many different things in this game, and it all boils down to this action wheel and how well you can plan where you're not only the actions you're going to take right now, but the ones you want to take the next round. So you have to think ahead. And then is somebody going to put a worker on that this inner ring that allows them to freeze the ring or move it 2 spaces? Is that all your plans go out the window? There are people who aren't going to like that.
Yeah.
They're not going to like this game because of that. But I love it.
It's like the cat's paw in Hickory Dickory.
Yeah, you got to think on the run in this game, and I like that. Think on the fly, because there are games where you can just build your whole strategy and have nobody mess with it. Well, those are okay. We have a few of those, but I like games where someone can mess with you a little bit. I mean, this game's that's a little bit of interaction, and it's going to mess with your plan. And
but it's not going to destroy it.
It won't destroy it. Yeah, and you can do something else.
Yeah.
You'll find, oh, well, dang it, I can't do that, but here's what I'm going to do instead, type of thing. But, I'm just so impressed with this silly mechanism, man. It is so cool. Because, again, it's just, I don't know. And then once you open up your 4th assistant, you can get up to 6 assistants. You'll never get there.
I can't imagine. That would be interesting if you had all 6.
Yeah, the game will end before you ever get there. I mean, if you can concentrate on your player board, moving these markers up and getting all 6 assistants, but hey, by the time you get them up there, game's over. You haven't even finished the painting.
Yeah.
So you can't do it. The economy in this game is just too tight. So yeah, oh wow, what a great mechanism that is. And I on Board Game Geek, right now this is ranked 6.9. Wow, people are just. I don't know.
He's a first-time designer.
He's
a lot of people might be hesitant.
This is his only game, and I don't know what made me get it out of the library. I don't know. I grabbed it out of the library, and we set it up, and I just...
Well, you had noticed it on the virtual flea market. Maybe that was why you got it from the library.
Well, let me tell you what happened. Yeah, we played it one time, and I told Laura, hey, wasn't that on the virtual flea market for $20? And we were already at the convention, so people are already there. And the virtual flea market's all been closed down, and I said,
it was the guy we bought Babylonia from.
Oh yeah, so we bought a game from a guy,
and you asked him,
and it happened to be the guy that owned this game, was trying to sell on the VFM for $20, and he said, well, his brother was coming down. If I want it, he'd have him bring it down. So he did. He brought it down. I bought this game. It's brand new for $20, and wow, it's $20 well spent. This game is absolutely fantastic. I can highly recommend it to you guys. Now, what you want to do is it comes with this huge deck of cards, and these are the paintings. I think I counted 9.
Yeah.
9 different paintings that are in this deck. Again, nice linen cards. This is Super Meeple. They do a nice job of publishing. And all these cards, and then on the other side of them are the paints that you have to supply to that painting to complete it, and the points are at the bottom. You get these little cardboard easels the paintings stand up on. I don't know, man, the game is just, it's a small in scope game, but the puzzle is interesting, the decisions are interesting and fun, and I guess that's the point of board gaming for me, is to have a fun, interesting game, and you can play this game. Did we get it done in a half hour, 45 minutes?
I'd say 45 minutes.
45 minutes, and that's just right where we like to play. And then all of these artists that you have in the game, this is Vincent van Gogh. He was my guy. There's 8 artists in the game, and Vincent van Gogh allowed me to keep 16 paints in my storage part right here on my player board. I could keep 16. I'm the only guy that could do that because I had Vincent van Gogh. And each one of these has a special power. Lori was allowed to move, once she moved her marker up 1 space by paying 2 cubes, she could pay the next space in cubes in order to move it up 1 more space, which is great at the beginning, but as she got up here, it got real expensive because if you were going from 4 to 5, you had to pay 5 paints to get that. 2 cubes to go to 4, and then 5 cubes to go up to the 5, 1 more space. So if she got it done early in the game, it was inexpensive for her to do that, but as the game wore on, it became more and more expensive.
1 more cube, and I would have got 6 points because I could have moved it 1 more space, but I didn't have enough cubes to do it.
So, I mean, there's just interesting ways to play this game, and some of the other artists do, let me see here. Let's see. So, Auguste Renoir. You've heard of Renoir, right? I mean, hey, watch the Midnight in Paris. I'm telling you, you will love this game. It just fits right into that movie. Each time you perform the acquire blue pigments action, you can immediately paint 1 to 2 blue spaces, which could be on 1 to 2 paintings. So if you want ones with blue cubes that require blue paints, because Renoir lets you place those without having a paint
You
action.
can put them directly on.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And this guy, Toulouse-Lautrec, yeah. I mean, these
I
guys
had
are...
him yesterday.
yesterday. On each painting, you can paint 2 spaces with any color other than white. Now here's Claude Monet. Each time you perform the acquire yellow paints pigment action, you can paint 2 spaces on 2 different paintings
Same
with yellow
as the
paint.
other one,
Same
yeah.
thing as the other one. This is Paul Cézanne. At the beginning of the game, choose a secondary color, orange, green, or violet, and place a pigment of this color on this tile. Each time you perform the mix 2 primary colors action to produce this color, you can replace one of the required primary pigments with a white pigment. So each time you use this, you can use a white instead of the primary color that it takes to make that pigment, right? To make that,
One of them.
mix that color?
You can-
One of them with white.
Yes.
Okay. They give you different powers. I really like that. It's so cool. They call it a module in the game, but you don't want to play it without it.
Right. Bonus
It's-
cards are a module
yeah,
too,
it's
but
silly.
we just threw everything in.
They call them modules. You know, ignore that. Just play it. Put everything in the game, and it's wonderful. And with the bonus cards and the artists, I mean, you can play it without those things, but it's a light game with them, and just the type of game that we like to play. There's the back of your board there, your player board. That's pretty cool. I don't know, guys. I mean, this is a great game. Wow, I was pleasantly surprised when I played it at the convention, but I only played it once, and it's hard to get a feel for it. But I played it that one time and decided I wanted it. For a number of reasons. One, I thought it was a pretty good game, but I just needed to explore it more. And then the second reason was I love Midnight in Paris, and it reminded me of that movie so much that I wanted to play the game some more. And this is going to stay in my library because I really like it. Again, it's a light to medium game because the puzzle of this wheel can get you. I mean, you will freeze up thinking about the choices that you're going to make on this wheel. Because you're leaving one behind at the end of the round. So you're trying to think, which one do I want to leave on that outer ring when the round ends, and I want to provide myself with the actions that I need this round. So you're looking ahead all the time in this game, and that creates some nice tension and some really fun puzzling to be done when you're placing workers on this wheel. And man, I tell you, that's a brilliant mechanism. I don't know. I can't think of a game where that's similar to that. Maybe there is. Maybe you guys know of one where you leave a worker behind and the actions change and you get to use that action where that worker is standing. But what a great design for this game. Again, it's a light game, but the puzzle is very nice, and I like that. I don't mind games being light, but there has to be some meat there, and this game provides that. I want to tell you about it. I think that's all I want to say about it, but this is such an inviting level of complexity. This is kind of like a Bruno Cathala type of thing. I wanted to tell you about it, and it's probably not going to get its just due because there's not a lot of components or.
Well, like I said, he's a first-time designer. Nobody's heard of him,
But Super Meeple believed in him. They published his game, and I think they were smart to do so.
We'll be watching for his next one.
Well, I'm going to pay attention to the guy. Nicholas de Oliveira. Hey, Nicholas, thank you for a fun game. Thank you for a game that is approachable for everyone, that there's enough puzzle here to have a good time when you're trying to work those tech tracks on your player board, and that puzzle of this central worker placement wheel mechanism just makes for a fun time. I wanted to tell you about it, and I hope you guys get a chance to try it. That's Colors of Paris. Get a chance. Hey, Fabrice Weiss is the artist, and the art in it is wonderful. I can't say enough about it. Colors of Paris is going into our library on a permanent basis. But hey, make sure you like and subscribe, folks. Please keep on board gaming. It's the best hobby on the planet, and I will see you next time on the Bones Collector. Bye-bye. Hey you guys, welcome to Bones Collector, and today on Bones Collector, Lori and I just got done playing Small World Underground. Small World Underground came out in 2011. Small World, the original game, came out in 2009. This is a sort of a different version of it, but it was designed by the same designer, Philip Keyarts, 2 to 5 players, and it's an area control, area majority game with variable player powers, and the person with the most points at the end of the game wins the game. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about Small World. I'm not going to tell you everything about how this game is played because it's been around a long time. Most of you have probably played it, but I was able to pick this copy up. A guy was selling it at a flea market, and he sold it to me for 25 bucks. He'd never played it, and I thought that was a pretty good deal. I had played Small World years ago, and at that particular time, it didn't really fit our playing style, which changed over the years, and we decided to pick this up. And I'll talk a little bit about the game itself, the physical production of the game, and it has a kind of a flimsy box, but that's okay. I mean, there's not a lot, no reason to have a thick box in this particular game, but it has a nice insert that holds everything in place. Everything fits in here nice and snugly, so I really appreciate that. And Days of Wonder, the publisher, does a good job with that. I mean, if you have any games by Days of Wonder, they're really good at what they do. And at the time, you know, Days of Wonder was the standard really in Euro games. They really published some nice games. You know, Five Tribes, Yamatai, and so forth. But now they got Heat out that's very popular, so that's pretty cool. And Quadropolis, of course, is amazing. But one thing I do want to give them a huge shout out for is the fact that they give you two main boards. This is for two players. Laura and I just got done playing. This side of the board's for 2 players. The other side is for 3. You got another board where you have 4 players and 5 players for those sides of the board. So I'm so irritated that they've been doing this for so long that you'd think other publishers would pick up on that and stop this nonsense about yeah, you're going to play with 2 players, well, just use this little corner of the board, and then you got that big playing board out there. I can't stand that kind of shortcut stuff in board gaming. So especially in today's world, I wish publishers would start doing their due diligence. And the one that made me the maddest recently was Babylonia. You end up playing on just like, I think, 1/3 of the board, which the game is fantastic, but it just, when you got that board out there and you're only playing on 1/3 of it, it just feels goofy. And so I wish publishers would stop doing it. Hey, but that's the end of that rant. Now you get in this game a nice tray here. Has a lid that comes with it and everything. If you haven't gotten Small World or ever been around Small World, it holds the tokens for all the races and the monster tokens in it. And then you've got some nice chunky tokens that are part of the game. These mountain tokens and the volcano, the righteous relics and prosperous places. I can't remember.
That's it.
Yeah, the places, and these are revenge tokens, and all the tokens that go with the different races are fine. The art on these race tokens and the special power tokens is very cool, and the board again is very nice. I really enjoy the published part of this game. They did a nice job, and I love these player aids that they give you. I mean, they give you, this is a complete summary of a game turn, and it's printed on both sides. And then each player, they made one of these for each player, and it gives you a summary of the races. And on the other side has a summary of all the special power badges, and then it has also a summary of the relics and the places on here, so that you have that at your disposal when you're playing the game. Because one thing for sure about playing even Small World, if you play Small World, you have to play a few times to figure out what some of these races do and the best way to use their particular power. Like some of these races you'll get, or once you put your race in decline, you flip them over, they give you a special benefit when your race is in decline. Well, those you probably want to get them in decline quicker than you would in one of the normal races and stuff like that. So you need to play them quite a bit in order to figure out the best way to use not only the races, but the special power badges also. But the game is very fun, very thematic, and this small world is just so cramped, and there's not room for all these races and so forth, so you're battling for space. And this is one of those games where you're going to be interacting heavily with the other players in the game. You're going to be taking, spreading out your population and your race and taking theirs off the board by invading their territory and so forth. And if you don't like interaction, this game probably wouldn't be for you. Now in this game, you have, instead of ancient tribe tokens, to make it more difficult for you to spread your population, make you spend more race tokens in order to control that space. In this particular one, you're going to have a couple of monster tokens on some of these spaces, and when you defeat those monster tokens, they simply go back into the box, and then you get one of these special tokens to put on the board, and it gives some kind of a special benefit or power to you, and as long as you control that space, you get to use that. I think that's different than Small World. I don't think they had these.
Well, they didn't have the monster tokens.
Yeah, righteous relics and stuff like that.
And
So
they just took the Lost Tribes off the board.
yeah, so it was pretty cool. I mean, we really had fun playing it, and there's just enough here. It's a light game. It's a light area control game that's cute, and that means a lot to us. We like playing games that are a little lighter in nature, don't take very long. We can reel off a game of this in about 45 minutes, and that's perfect for us. And we get the little area control thing going on, a little battling going on, and we really enjoy that. Now, every once in a while, you'll want to have one token left over, and you can't do anything with that, so you try to expand into another space, and you can roll this die to give you a little boost. And most of the time, that's exactly what I roll right there. The blank. But it's got 3 blanks on it, and it'd be 3 blanks and 3 sides with a 1, 2, and 3 dots on them. That means that's how many tokens the die is going to give you if you want to invade that space. And once in a while, I mean, I was successful, I think, one or twice.
I think I might have done it once.
Yeah.
The rest of the time I rolled blanks.
But I mean, you might as well.
Yeah.
You know, rather than
Rather
just
try.
Yeah, better than not trying at all.
Yep.
And then you get races, and special power badges give you points in different ways. Areas that you control, specific areas like mushroom forests and crystal caverns and stuff like that, if you happen to control those. So they're pretty neat. And then, of course, you got these mountain tokens on here that are going to simply be there to make you spend 1 more token to go into that space and try and control it. But we like Small World. We liked it when we played it back in the day, and it didn't have really a challenge that we were looking for, but it was still good. Now, we enjoyed it. It's not like we hated the game or didn't like it. You know, it was good. We just had so many games that one we decided to let go. And then when I was at that flea market recently, I thought, oh, Small World Underground. Well, I knew there was a little more to this particular version of the game, and I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. So we did, and brought it home and played it. And I really like it. I'm glad it's here. I enjoy
like the darker colors on the map.
Yeah, it is.
You're underground.
You're underground, so it's kind of a different world, and that's pretty cool. Of course, you got this token that tracks the rounds just like the other Small World game, and this small board for 2 players. You know, you flip it over, and it's a small board for 3 players. I mean, that's priceless. When you're getting a game that's going to scale well, you want it to be done properly, and I just can't stand it when publishers say, yeah, we'll just use the quarter of the board since there's only 2 of you. I just really, that's so lazy. I actually will not buy some games that do that, just for that reason. So publishers, if you see this video, maybe that'll help you decide next time to go the extra mile and give 2 boards in the game, or 2-sided board if that will suffice. I've seen, I think Gentez Deluxified had a 2-sided board for different player counts. That's fabulous. Do that. But don't expect all player counts to be on the same side of the board if you're going to shrink using that board. I think it was Carnegie.
Yeah.
You put like 18 blockers on the board. It just looked hideous, so I just didn't even bother with that game. But yeah, okay, that's Small World. I just wanted to talk about it just for a brief few minutes, let you know we still enjoy this game. It's still wonderful. It's still fun. By Days of Wonder, they did a tremendous job back then, and they still are doing a tremendous job with publishing games for people who like a light to medium board game. Yeah. So that's Small Wonder.
Small World.
Or Small Wonder. Small World Underground by Philip Keyarts. Philip, thank you very much for a very fun experience.
I love the art on the box. It's
very cool.
I think it's nice.
Yeah, so, that's it. I'll see you next time, Bones Collector. Make sure you like and subscribe. I love every one of you. Keep on board gaming. It's the best hobby on the planet. See you next time. Bye-bye.